I can't even name one person that I really did not get along with on this cast. There were definitely some people that would get under your skin a little bit, and you guys will see that on the show. And I mean, you guys have all been talking about him already, so I'm sure you could assume who it is. But the rest of the cast was really amazing.
Hi, besties. The consummate ladies' man, or the ladies' man in his own mind. The man, the myth, the legend of polygamy. I don't know. That seems like an even way too great of a intro. But Kody Brown has made his entire career on being a ladies' man, or at least he claims to be. And how did he obtain these ladies? Easy. He converted to a Mormon cult, not the LDS Church, but an offshoot, a smaller group in Utah. And then his family converted in Wyoming. And in Wyoming, they live on a dirt mud compound where lots of people live in not so great conditions. And Kody grew up in a world that was filled with children, chaos, being poor. And I guess that rubbed off on him because now he wants to be a big time celebrity. But before he became the fixture of this channel and the world of ire and irritation, he was a man that had joined a cult at the tender age of 18 or 19, and he joined with first wife Mary when he was 22 or 23. Mary and Kody went on to take two concubines, who we will lovingly refer to as Janelle and Christine, and those became the sister wives. And then, right before Kody decided that he needed to be a TV star, he made the choice to add his diesel gene model, Robin, Jessup, Sullivan, Merrick, whatever. 4 names, creditors after her. Who cares? 30 grand in debt, whatever. 3 kids, no biggie. Let's bring in Robin into our union and we'll pay her, we'll withdraw all of our money from our 401k so she can move in with us. And we'll get a show called Sister Wives. And so he targeted these beautiful young ladies in a cult. And he lured them into a marriage with him by promising them that if they married him, he would get them to heaven. And then it all came crashing down. Kody has thrown away his family for the diesel gene model, who now is 46 years old, has 5 kids, and still hasn't had a job since the Obama administration. And now Kody, with his family in disarray and his show that's been on the air on TLC for more than 15 years, seemingly at its end, has decided to take on a role as a celebrity reality show jumper. And Kody is jumping on over to the special forces. Now, we talked about this last week, y'all. Kody Brown doesn't get along with people very well. I mean, who would have thought that the man that screamed a knife in the kidneys? I mean, by the way, does he even have medical clearance to be on this show? Seriously, though, if you have a kidney problem, wouldn't you assume that you may not be fit to be on special forces? And by the tone of his outburst, you would have thought he lost both kidneys. So Kody is not getting along with friends on special forces. And maybe we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, like I said, this is a man that loves to yell at women. And last week we talked about how Brianna, she made a post about how she didn't get along with certain cast members. And Kody said that he posted on his Instagram that he cried like a baby. And then Brianna snapped back and said, I cried. I sobbed. LOL. And then she said that she did not get along with Kody. Well, she hinted at it very strongly. And we discussed about it in the comments. Like, it felt like all these other cast members were sort of getting along and doing things. Well, Gia Giudice, who is the daughter of Teresa ex-felons, Teresa and Joe, who now lives in Italy because he was deported following his felony conviction for fraud and tax evasion. Gia and her mother, Teresa, are on the show together. And the show actually has some pairs like this, like Sean Johnson and her husband, Andrew, are on. And I think and Jesse James Decker and Eric Decker are also on the show together. So there's like 3 separate couples, but I guess Gia and her mom aren't really a couple. They're like mom and daughter. But nevertheless, Cody is joining the cast. I told you last week he's going to be the oldest one on the cast. The bulk of the guys on it, minus Jesse Smollett and another actor, Ravi Patel, I think his name is, are mostly ex-athletes, former Pro Bowlers, former NFL stars, former NBA champions, you're running today the mill, former washed up and NFL stars and Heisman Trophy winners, whoever you want to talk about. But Cody's the oldest one. And now Gia Giudice says that she also did not get along with Cody. He got under her skin, and you'll see that on the show. Now, in Gia's podcast, which was about 11 minutes longer than I wanted to listen, she discussed how everything came together and how when they got to Morocco, they were kind of segregated from everyone before they went to the base camp where they went for the remainder of the show. So they were at like a hotel for a couple days, getting ready to go, having like physicals and having like trainings so that people were prepared once they got there. And so she really said she had no clue who was a part of the cast until when she was at the pool, she saw Brianna walk past her and she was familiar with who Brianna was. So that was like one person she figured out was on the cast, but they kept everyone completely separated, I guess she said. And then once they got to the camp, that's when they got in each other's space a little bit more closely. And she mentioned that the cast, for the most part, got along really well, except for Cody. Like, really. It sounds like everyone in the cast got along, but Cody. Cody was kind of like the outsider that was causing conflict and problems with everyone, allegedly. And, I can't imagine that Cody has the best communication skills, because if you spend your life in a cult where everyone is like worshiping the ground you walk on, and you get used to everyone kissing your ass, you wouldn't have to develop the best or the most, adaptive social skills. You wouldn't even need to have social skills, because all you would have to do is merely exist. And by existing, everyone worships the ground you walk on, because you promised all these people that if they follow you, they'll get to heaven with you, and you are their priesthood. And when you have that kind of authority over people, you get to behave every way that you want, any way that you want. And that cult for sure breeds a personality and a underlying driver for many men, maybe perhaps, as Cody has said, is narcissism and the desire to have multiple wives. And so they use this religion in order to philander, which is basically what Cody ended up doing. And I think that Cody's lack of ability to be actually cognizant of how he interacts with people, which is challenging. Every person, when you walk into a situation, you're walking into group dynamics. Not everyone is good with groups. Some people struggle more than others. And then you have people that have come from a cult. And I think Cody might be the only one in this group that's like an ex-cult member with maladaptive coping mechanisms and a narcissistic personality disorder. But I highly doubt he's the only narcissist on this cast. I mean, let's just be honest. And with that said, it would be easy for me to believe that he would not at all get along with people, because he feels like, and he acts like he's like the coolest person in the world. He acts like he's a celebrity. I mean, I told you that Cody used to apparently be on dating sites, and he would try to hit on women, allegedly. This is what a woman told me who was on a dating site that got connected to him somehow. And he acted like he was an actor on a show pretending to be a polygamist. And he was acting for the cameras, and that he was divorced from all of the women, including Robin, and he had no wives. He just lived on a cul-de-sac with all of these exes. And he was a big time celebrity in his own mind. I mean, he donated money to, I don't even remember, one of the parties for Trump several years ago, and I'm pretty sure that he named himself as like a celebrity or an A-list actor. I can't remember what he listed his occupation as, but he made clear when he donated money to Trump that he was super, you know, influential and a celebrity. But regardless, he's not a man that has lack of an ego. So again, that would be hard. And then add that he has zero respect for women. I'm just waiting to see what his reactions are going to be like with Teresa. Oh my gosh. Teresa Giudice is, I mean, this is the woman that flipped tables when she was on the first season of Bravo's New Jersey's Housewives. And she has evolved quite a bit. She's divorced, she's remarried. She went to prison for a little bit. She's got some of her own tax problems, I guess, right now again. And, you know, she's not one to like shy away from confrontation or drama or getting loud. And so I would be interested to see if they have any disputes. She hasn't, as far as I know, said anything. It's been Brianna, Gia, and Sean Johnson that have all sort of hinted that there's issues with Cody. And then they like say that everyone else is great. So can you imagine being in a cast with Cody? Does he have kidneys left after Morocco? Is he on dialysis at this point? Does he need a transplant? I worry. And then she said that while they were gone, they took their phones. And so when they were in Morocco at the hotels, they didn't have access to their telephones and they didn't have access to any communication with anyone in the outside world. And then when they got to the camp, it was the same thing. And so they were very isolated and secluded. And, I'm trying to imagine, it sounds like, so they go there, they're at the hotel for a couple days and he doesn't have his phone. So he was not able to speak to the tender age kids, and for several days. And then he goes to a camp where he still can't communicate with the tender age kids. And I'm just wondering how that impacted Robin and the tenders, because Robin always says that he can't be away from the tenders for more than 2 days. So Ariella and Solomon, that was always the excuse that she used, was that he has to be home because he cannot handle, her kids can't handle not seeing their dad for a couple days. Well, when you have 4 wives, they would have only seen him every 4 days. But then Mary got put into the pasture and then slowly he just stopped staying at anyone else's house but Robin. So he's been like constantly over at Robin's, now his house, together for, a couple years now. So how are the tenders doing now? Or do you think the tenders, now that they have to live with him all the time, are like, God, get the hell out of this house? I don't know why my mom even said that I wanted to see you every day. I don't know. But I wonder if there's going to be meltdowns about Cody not being able to communicate with the tenders. And I wonder if Robin even shows up on here and she gets to talk about how he's going to be away from the tenders and and I think Robin probably wouldn't mind Cody being away because then she could probably shop completely unencumbered and she can buy as many $17,000 dolls as she wants without Cody having any idea what's going on. And the check from the show would certainly help Robin buy more dolls and doll clothes. So she might be okay with him being gone. But this was a long, rambling state to tell you that Cody has to spend time away from the tenders. Cody and Robin had to be split up for more than 2 days. The tenders didn't get to talk to dad for more than probably a week, more like longer. And Cody and the tenders separated, made Cody apparently incapable of liking or having any good communication with people because all of the cast appears to hate him. Well, so far, at least 3. And Gia in her podcast stated that everyone gets along. And then she was like, but the guy that we're talking about in the media, you'll see, part of me's like, are they just doing this to get us to watch so that we watch Cody get in fights with people? And then does that actually help ratings if people tune in to like watch Cody get embarrassed? Because then if he brings ratings to a show or then they going to hire him for other shows? Because reality shows don't care about morals. They only care about drama. So if he can add drama, I think he could be added to other shows in the future. But Cody and his separation from the tenders and his kidneys didn't get along with people. And now Gia Giudice is on the record. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts about how, the tenders might be feeling about this, learning this information. And what do you think Robin did while he was gone? Make sure to leave a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.